is great. I don't even care about the visuals, and this is fucking great. Talk, boys.
Smite 1 and being able to get him into Smite 2. I know there's a lot of people that are excited for him.
Clumsy was the one in charge of the port for this,
one of the most requested mages that is not yet in Smite 2. I think maybe Scylla is the only one that
we all know Scylla's #1, okay?
That I hear more often. But, Scylla has some technical things that you know, made it more sense to do Merlin first. And yeah, excited to bring him into the game. He just has such an interesting play style. That we've added some new wrinkles to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, super sweet.
Just some subtle, tiny
just
little
ones. A little bit. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about Merlin. We'll kick the show off today with him, but also a lot of other stuff in OB6 that we're going to talk about today. But without further ado, go ahead.
So quick little TLDR, right? Not like a true patch notes show because we don't really do those anymore, and we don't have written patch notes yet, but we are going to show as much stuff that's in OB6 today as we can.
Yeah.
There's going to be some more stuff that we aren't showing today, but we're going to show Merlin. We're going to go through some skins. We can't go in game for all the skins because they aren't quite done yet.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about, there's some items, there's some aspects, there's all sorts of cool stuff. So we're going to run through as much of it as we can today. There's some, I don't know if we're going to go in, there's some map updates, but I don't know if we're going to go through that today.
We can see if we can go through them today.
We'll see. There's a lot of good stuff in the update, and there's even some stuff that was supposed to be in this update that didn't make it in because one of our devs had jury duty and has been stuck on a jury for like a week, and he was like lead on a couple features.
That would suck ass, dude. Oh, that would be so bad. Be stuck on just sitting in court for a week, bro. Oh my God. I'm lucky because I only make money if I'm working. And I work basically all day, so I get out of it every time. But like, oh my gosh.
That were supposed to be in this update. So still a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm excited to share it all with you. So.
Cool. So without further ado, I'll bring up the handy dandy laptop here, and
there he is.
Our boy Merlin here.
It's crazy seeing him in Smite 2. Like,
yeah, Clumsy, talk to us a little bit about just getting Merlin into Smite 2. What's the process? I know you all have a lot of new features and systems that you can work in with Unreal 5. The gameplay ability system. Merlin has a lot of abilities.
Merlin has a lot of abilities. That's absolutely one of the main functions, right? It's just that when we were getting
okay, that's not everyone because you have paid leave at most jobs, and jury duty is paid leave. They have to pay you, right? So I don't get paid leave. You guys don't sub if I don't stream. You guys don't watch YouTube videos if I don't edit and record videos. Dumb McGee.
The idea of Merlin yeah, we're just gonna keep casting this. I love seeing all the different spell effects and everything. Roland's been working really hard, but yeah, obviously Merlin's a master magician. He's got a whole bunch of abilities. We didn't really want to go too crazy on that sense because, you know, every time that we port into God, we have to think about what's being redeveloped from the beginning, not just the gameplay side of it, the effect side, the sound effects.
So his kit is essentially the same, but the 3
to put in
is
God from
different.
Smite 1 to Smite 2, and that goes kind of to his plus ones and his features. So we wanted to make sure that when we brought Merlin in from Smite 1 to Smite 2, we didn't kind of. It's not that we didn't want to go crazy for the sake of crazy, but when you're bringing in a character that already has so much going on, it's almost an injustice to push that too far away.
Yeah.
Like, just a simple example, and something that people said externally and internally, I was like, wait, what if we did a 4th stance, right? Like, what would that mean for Merlin? And like,
a 4th stance.
Right? Can we do that?
Right.
Do we want to do it? We have more buttons than ever now. But in the grand scheme of things, and that's actually one of the reasons why we went kind of lighter on some of the plus ones, especially for Merlin, is because he's already got a pretty cohesive kit that, in fact, for just taking that example, if you brought in a 4th stance, you'd actually be detracting from the other stances and abilities that are already there, and you're going to be diluting what his kit identity actually is. Like, for example, you know, each one of his stances right now has a gameplay purpose for being there. If you bring in a 4th one, is that going to just be better all the time? Is that going to be what is the new niche you're trying to fill? It's a fun idea, but it's not something that was really entertained for too long. So despite any of the technical or artistic challenges that might be there, we wanted to make sure that Merlin feels like Merlin going into Smite 2. I know a lot of people even wanted to change the passive and go a little bit crazier there, and we kind of did that, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So I guess, do you want to try to just talk about the plus 1 features?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, so the main plus 1 feature going from Smite 1 to Smite 2, well, you've got the different abilities changing based on stance, but the one thing that never really changed was his teleport, his flicker ability. So now, whenever Merlin uses his flicker, depending on what stance he's in, you're going to see one of those 3 effects.
Right.
So in our...
Okay, I'm thinking of how 30% of the damage taken within the last 4 seconds. It's really not going to be a massive heal. It might save your life a handful of times.
You're going to be healing a percentage of the recent damage you've
it will
taken
save your
recently.
life
You're going
a
to see
handful
that
of
update in
times.
the passive meter, so that's a new element there. In Fire, for a short duration, you're going to be applying the Radiate debuff, which is what we're going to talk about in a second, which is basically just that dot effect. And for Ice, your ability cooldowns are going to be reduced by a full 5 seconds when you're in that.
Okay, that's insane. That's potentially insane for some rapid fire on the one.
Maybe that's a little bit high, but we want
seems like a lot.
It seems like a lot,
pretty good.
but at the same time, you're most likely going to be using that flicker
gonna one-shot you,
offensively
bro.
if you want to do that. So you're kind of sacrificing the defense mechanism and going for the offense. While in Arcane, right, you're sacrificing anything else and you're just trying to go for a little bit more of that heal play. You don't want to do it too early, otherwise you're not going to be able to make use of the actual heal from the damage, right? It's a kind of a combat heal.
Right.
And then for the Fire, that's again kind of more of an offensive one. You're kind of weaving that in the middle of your fight to keep that dot going from your Radiate.
Nice, sweet. Well, you want to let's talk about the Arcane one first. Let's see if I can take a little bit of a damage here.
And as
tower
usual,
range.
it being Titan Talk, we want to make sure that we're let you guys know that there's still some things that are going to be temp. Not everything's going to be in a perfect state, but we're going to keep
see
sharpening
that
that
heal
up.
right there after the flicker in Arcane stance.
Yes,
Nice.
and that will be affected by anti-heal. So if you are anti-healed and you see like 100, you're not going to get that full 100 amount. It just as usual, it's going to be affected by that anti-heal number.
Sleepiest Merlin? Is that a...
Sleepiest Merlin is the thing. I went to Sleepiest Anubis the other day and actually went pretty
nice.
crazy. Because I knew they had a lot of anti-heal. So otherwise, his abilities that work the same way that you'd expect them to work. He's got this ability 1 that marks the enemies.
Sleepiest on
while they're in
Anubis
it. They
actually
take
might
hit
be
damage.
meta.
Again, we're trying to
Low-key.
smooth some stuff out, but for the most part, everything does work the way you'd expect.
definitely
it.
not building
and then
on
his
Merlin.
flicker is that main
Don't do that
plus
to
1
yourself.
feature. So if we go to the Fire Stance, his Fire Stance has a small +1 that I'm actually still building out as we speak
Nice.
right now, which effectively it's that his Radiate does, which is his first ability in the Fire Stance, does a burning dot.
Cool.
And the idea is that when the combined area of the Dragonfire, so that center area that usually reduces protections, also applies that Radiate dot, as does his Flicker and his Elemental Mastery. So the idea is that you have this Fire Stance is the dot stance. It was kind of there before, but now you're kind of playing on that a little bit more. So you can see that 13 damage. Now if you apply the center area, you're going to see the Protection Shred. You can see the center Ymir specifically will take that ongoing Radiate burn damage. If you use your 3, so now you're in hands, you can see him like lit up not just with lightning, but also with some extra fire.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah.
And for the next 3 or 4 seconds, your in hands will actually apply that Radiate BO1 debuff too. And then finally, his ulti, it goes in and out, expands and contracts based on whatever stance you're going
that do a
to.
dot
in.
too?
You'll see that will also apply
okay.
that Radiate
yeah.
debuff. So the
wonder what the
idea
It's
scaling
more
on
of
the
like
dot
a
is.
burning effect, which is what you would expect, I guess, from fire.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
It's very on theme. I like it.
now the numbers are obviously going to be lower because of it, right? It's not the same old BO1 damage, but you're going to be having it spread throughout the kit,
Right.
Or at least that stance of his kit.
All right, and now we are in Ice Stance. So if I use my abilities
So it's an
here,
AA crit.
Ice stance
Merlin.
is simple as ever before.
I get my cooldown resets here
Yes.
pretty quick.
Yep, 5 seconds there. So you're basically with even the tiniest bit of CDR, you're most likely getting your a double Frostbolt.
Oh yeah.
And just in general in this stance, it's still pretty simple. Your 2 is applying that stacking slow, which plays off of the 1, which does bonus damage off of slows. Of course, it'll do bonus damage off of any slow, but your 2 is the one that facilitates it, or your 4 technically.
Apparently people like
facilitates it
Merlin,
the most.
man. I don't know.
Yeah, the
One
double
blink,
Frostbolt right
one.
after the flicker.
Yeah, it feels good.
And then if you get Mirrodin, then you can triple frostbolt.
Yes, exactly. So Merlin kind of coming in with those 2 main +1 gameplay features. The flicker one being the
With
most
Mirrodin,
important one.
you could
And then,
literally
we talked about, his
1-1,
passive
blink
is still his passive. I know there are a lot of people who
If
kind of want to
someone's
see
not
that
dead, I'd
get
be
the
mind-blown, 'cause
+1
it's
feature.
probably some crazy
but
scaling.
I actually thought that the flicker almost deserved it more because it was just kind of that singular, simple ability that we could
You're just gonna see
emphasize and play around with
Merlin
in unique
like
ways
every
that kind
other
of
mage.
ties into each one of the stances of his kit. While the passive itself, it's there to weave in your extra spells, your lightning stance in a way. It was never meant to be pushed too far into the forefront of his kit. That being said, it was something that I wanted to play around with, and we can talk about it for his aspect.
Yeah, I was gonna
However,
Oh, jeez. Are you guys ready to get
Are we gonna talk
pretty
about
silly
it?
with it?
Okay,
Is
we're
there
gonna
anything
get
else to
some-
talk about on base Merlin? Or like...
well, I want to give a shout out again to the tech teams and the art teams. Merlin's not a simple character.
For sure,
Even when we were
yeah.
talking about his abilities, like each one kind of seems almost simple by themselves, but there's so much interconnectivity. There's so much work that had to be done just in the idea that he's switching between these different stances and the amount of, like, for example, his basic attacks. Like if you just fire his projectiles, they're themed to the different stances. The hit effects are themed to the different stances. There's a lot of different, like even the outro and the intros of the ulti, because if you don't have any points put into it, you don't do the explosion
Right,
field,
yeah.
and then that needs to be themed to the different stances. There's a lot that goes in to the triple stance swapping that while we may have had a little bit of the tech before that from like Uller and even Aladdin Lamp and stuff like that, there's still even more that had to be built in for Merlins.
And let's answer a couple of just questions about base Merlin before we move on. What is the number below the elemental icons? That is how much you will heal when you flicker while in arcane stance, which is the amount of damage, 30% of the amount of damage you've taken in the last 4 seconds.
That's cool.
What are the ones?
Hold on, time out. We have a counter for the amount of healing you're gonna do on your flicker on Merlin, but we don't have a counter for the amount of bonus health you have on Thanatos aspect. This has got to be far more intricate than adding +1 +25, +1 +25.
So does the flicker cooldown in ice stance also reduce the cooldown on the ult 5 seconds?
That's
Yes,
crazy.
it does.
It does. Okay.
It only just doesn't do itself. And yeah, I'll get back to that in a little bit.
That's
too.
crazy.
There's a question of I thought gods were not coming with aspects. So we are planning to put a Merlin aspect in this update, but the Merlin aspect will not be available on the first day of the update because we feel like when we do that, it is less exciting, and we'd rather add it either a few days later or in the second week of the update.
I see what they're doing, and it's smart on their end. So we had Artemis dropped with an aspect, Rama dropped with an aspect. Who else? Unbatched dropped with an aspect. And with all of them, you pretty much only see the aspect played. So this allows for them to drop a god, you to play it for a couple days, be like, this is okay, this is fun, or whatever. And then they can be like, surprise, here you go. Here's a whole new thing for you to try for the next few days. It's to get people to play more and play more consistently, at least on the launch of each god. It's pretty smart.
We haven't decided exactly when yet, but we will be adding the Merlin aspect later in OB6.
Correct. Oh, and I wanted to give a special shout out because even though someone mentioned in chat, I did recall and I didn't forget. It is actually Sinfo's birthday today, so I wanted to wish her happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sinfo.
And well, we love Sin, but also because she's a massive Merlin fan. I know she's been always asking about when Merlin's going to be in the game.
This aspect
He's laughing nervously.
is
What? No.
one of the crazier things we've done in Smite 2. And
It's fine.
I think this is another one of those like the power of UE5 moments and the power of the gameplay ability system because like I don't want to overhype it, but like
Brother, you said Mordred is power crept King Arthur. Do you understand what King Arthur is going to do when he drops in Smite 2? He is going to ram his sword so far up your asshole that you're going to uninstall the game. And then you're going to regret ever saying Mordred was power crept King Arthur. Dude, King Arthur is going to 1v9. He is going to ask his teammates to help them and still win. We already know what's going to happen, bro. We're in hybrid city with this game. King Arthur is going to fuck you up.
this would not have been I mean, maybe it would have been doable eventually in Smite 1, but like you just kind of had this crazy ass idea and you went with it, and like very quickly you were able to
I want to give a shout out as well. So absolutely the UE5 system and the tech behind Merlin was a massive reason why this aspect could even come to be. But also, again, a shout out to Nick on the programming team. He was just like, full clarity, he was just like, I want to work on it this weekend because it sounds fun and I just want to do it and we can get it done. And then he did it and it came in on the Monday and we play tested it. And it was like, we had some things to smooth it out, but he just had the passion to be like, you know what? Let's do this.
Let's just do it, you know?
Yeah, because I talked about it before, like his passive and some basic attacks and some ulti ideas. I had some like small, really simple, just could work and will be useful all the time aspect ideas.
Right.
And then I brainstormed this crazier one. And I was actually streaming. Shout out to plug to the Clumsy stream. I do it like once a month. I think I find it funny.
Self-plug,
I find it
right?
very
It's
funny.
fine, it's fine.
So and then the streamer was talking about it a little bit, and they didn't realize that like I wanted to do this idea, and then the fact that they even kind of came to it naturally, I was like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's
Right.
make it happen. So
I will bring up the laptop.
if you hover over
and I will hover the aspect, and we'll just read it. You know.
they even helped me come up with
Elemental Mastery has reduced cooldown. That's your ultimate, or your stance swap. And each time it is used, a random stance is selected with 2 random primary abilities. Flicker will always persist. Using Elemental Mastery provides an intelligence buff for a short duration. What is that intelligence buff and what's a short duration?
Elemental Mastery.
So I read this earlier. There is a world where you get Frost 1 and Fire 2, and I think you rail everybody. But there's also a world where you're playing melee range or you're close range to somebody and you roll the Void 1, which is the little swirl. If you don't throw it far, it doesn't get big. So all abilities would be fine to random, in my opinion, except for Void 1. Void 1 is something you want at specific times and don't want all the other times.
Has a reduced cooldown, and each time it is used, a random stance is selected with 2 random primary abilities. Flicker will always persist. Using Elemental Mastery provides an intelligence buff for a short duration. So, Clumsy, what does this mean?
This means you're getting random abilities. We're doing it. We were joking about it, and we're doing it. So you'll start the game, as you see right here, and there are actually a few caveats which I'm going to mention because you can break yourself. But if you're doing that, you're doing it to yourself. So so you start with the Arcane Stance. Everything seems normal, right?
Yes.
Now go ahead and press that 4 button.
All right.
So you lucked into your Frostbolts 1 and 2, but
He has Frost, Blink, and he got double
you're
Frost.
actually in Fire Stance. You can see that through
he's
the flicker.
in Fire
And if you
Stance.
keep doing that, you're going to basically be able to switch between the different abilities.
All right. Yeah,
So
I wonder
go
if
ahead
it
and
works
do it
better. Let me
again.
just set myself to level 20 and level up. That way.
I'll talk about the bricked aspect
There we
component
go.
of that later
Cool.
on. But
And I will just put on reduced cooldowns. Although Elemental, actually, no, I'm not going to do reduced cooldowns. That way we can show off the short cooldown for Elemental Mastery. So I'm going to ult again.
there we go. So
Wait,
you are just
What's the normal stance swap on at 20? Is the normal 20 seconds?
choosing between a different 1 and a different
Frost.
2. This time you kept your Frostbolts. You're in Arcane Stance, but you have your Arcane 2, and you're basically it's going to be randomizing your 1s and your 2s.
Oh, it's a
You
30-second
keep
cooldown
Flicker.
usually?
That is one of the main things. So there you go. You have your Arcane
down to 14?
2 and your Fire 1. And you could have 2 different 1s, you could have 2 different 2s. You could have the exact same 2 spells you would
Oh
normally have,
my
but be in a
gosh.
different stance. You
Wait
could have
a minute here. This is OP. This is I realize the randomness of this could bamboozle you, but in reality, you should be able to play around pretty much everything. And if you're ult swapping that fast, your ult hits really hard on top of people, especially when it's a fire swap. You're gonna be down to like an 7-8 second ult swapper. So you're literally gonna 1, 2, 3 ult. 1, 2, 3 ult. 1, 2, 3 ult. Like, hold on, this just seems OP.
an entirely new composition altogether. So you keep doing that. So you're in Frost Dance, you've got your Fire 1, you've got your Ice
So
1.
now you can flicker to give you reduced cooldown on your Fire 1.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So funnily enough, that was actually a bug, or like that was working. And then I realized when I was working on the cooldown part of Flicker, I didn't only do it to his ice abilities. And I'm like,
Right.
crap, now I need to do it to his other abilities. So I went ahead and fixed that. So yes, while those Flicker aspects, or those Flicker plus ones kind of only matter for base Merlin in those specific ways, now what stance you are is going to actually matter for the Flicker based on your other abilities too.
Right.
So while you're not getting, you're not randomizing Flicker into a new ability, you're still randomizing the stance you're in, giving you a new
see, I got
Flicker
ice.
components as well.
Oh, I lucked out. I got the perfect roll here. I'm in ice
Yup,
stance.
it's totally possible. So,
But I think the TLDRs, this is just fun.
This
right?
is just fun. This is just wacky. This is fun. There's one other component
This
of it
seems
as well,
OP.
because one of the other
Genuinely.
goals we wanted to have is that you don't just find your perfect 2 abilities, or let's just say the meta RNG Merlin 3 triple stance, whatever it is, that's there. So whenever you use Elemental Mastery, which is on a reduced cooldown with
and-
this aspect,
And I would say that's like, people are like, but why would you use this? Or, like, what's the upside of this, right? Playing against this, it feels like Merlin has his abilities up much more often. You just aren't sure what they're going to be, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It could be
There's
something
little
that is
feedback
really good to, in this situation, or it could be something that's not as good. So you're basically giving up like the choice of what stance, what abilities are best for you, to be able to cast much more often.
Yep. But also, so you can see whenever you use the Elemental Mastery, you're actually given a new buff of temporary intelligence based on
what
base
is the
per
buff,
level.
or how
so
much is
that
it?
way, if you do find that mixed match of perfect abilities, you're incentivized to swap, because every time you swap, you have a buff in power, a buff in your intelligence.
It's
So
a
you
4
don't
second
want to
stacking buff.
just hold on to your perfect 2 abilities. You're incentivized to keep playing and,
Yeah.
and
It's this
keep
buff,
hitting
right?
that
Keep
slot
getting that
roulette.
intelligence buff, firing the
Exactly.
abilities, switch again.
Yeah. And
Is it this buff or this buff? Oh, it's the 10-second buff. It's no, because this is non-aspect and he gets that buff. So, too far. So this is the buff.
15 seconds at all ranks.
So it's a 10-second buff.
Which
10
you know,
plus
is pretty good.
1
But
per level.
it's even less if you get into Ice Dance, because then you can
So
flicker.
you get
Exactly.
a 10-second, 30
And then, of
and
course,
buff.
you know, cooldown rate playing into that as well.
So I was mentioning that
I think just the cooldown on that ultimate
this
is
might
insane.
not be, you know, the comp Merlin. That being said, I still think it's wacky and fun, and it might be pretty good. Maybe with some on-hit builds or something.
Oh, fuck. Hold on. I didn't. Wait. This is Fire 2, correct? So he got a Fire 2 as his first ability. So you can have any ability in any slot. So you can technically get Frost 1 and Void 1. That's fucking sick. That makes it so much cooler, but I still think this could be super OP with his ultimate cooldown. Like, this could be crazy.
Oh, the mega AoE, right?
Yes. Yeah. That one feels good.
That is sick.
Sweet. Well, yeah, that is Merlin's.
All
Did an update. People just kept asking, what skins? And we never really showed them off. So music skins yet. But it,
No, not
vain.
music skins,
Yeah.
bro. They're so boring.
Very cool.
What the fuck is that? Where'd her mouth go? What'd that mouth do? No, but seriously, where the fuck is her mouth? It's kind of creepy.
together before the show today, and
It's cool looking, but it's kinda creepy.
I wasn't quite great at doing that. We were playtesting some new stuff this morning that took a little.
All right,
Kick us
Yemoja's
off
got a new
because
aspect.
Yemoja's getting an aspect.
Yemoja is getting an aspect. Yes, that's right. Double whammy here with Merlin and Yemoja. Okay, so Yemoja's one is one that, you know, we kind of saw the direction of a little while ago. We just didn't know exactly how we want to implement it, but we thought, you know, let's pull the trigger, give this a go, see how the
I
numbers.
just want to know exactly what you're going to cast in comp. Okay, so there's two ways to look at it, right? Like, obviously, the most consistent thing on your regular player is to know what stance you're swapping it to. However, the highest level players could probably create value out of any ability, right? If they can do that while also having faster stance swapping, so more abilities, I think that aspect might be better than their processing. Also, it was on a 15-second cooldown with no items. So it's going to be on a 7 or 8 second cooldown for the alt swaps, right? So that means your abilities are also on a shorter cooldown. So you possibly are just 1, 2, 3 alt, 1, 2, 3 alt, 1, 2, 3, like literally just rapid fire, especially with the Chronos pendant. It's potentially infinite more DPS if you are able to react to your abilities properly, which is not going to be most players. Most people will run that aspect and be very slow-mo bad.
Numbers work out, and it iterated when necessary, right? So Yemoja's aspect is the aspect of Downpour. It's basically going to let her be a little bit more on the offensive side.
No.
So you're
Mending Waters no longer affects allies, but stops and bounces on enemy gods, dealing damage, shield damage, and providing Yemoja stacking intelligence per hit. Additionally, Moonstrike no longer stuns gods, but has increased intelligence. So your 2 bounces around. I wonder what the damage is.
Your second ability, Mending Waters, no
Your 2
longer
bounces,
does
your
anything
1
to
doesn't
do with
stun.
allies, but instead,
Your 2 doesn't
on
heal
hitting
anyone.
an enemy god, it'll bounce
is
to
mage
other
build.
enemy gods, right? That's kind of one of the main things. It's like, okay, you have this ability that's mostly just defensive oriented. Let's purely turn that into an offensive
I like the idea of this, but the no
ability.
stun sounds scary.
And not only that, but it also, we know, is going to compete kind of with your first abilities, which is kind of what you're going to be spamming most of the time. So instead of just
Keep
giving
in
that
mind, your 2 also costs way more Omi. I'm pretty sure your 2 is 2 Omi, and your 1 is 2 Omi, and your 2 is 3 Omi.
more damage or more scaling, we're actually saying that every time that you use Mending Waters and it hits an enemy god, it actually stacks up an intelligence buff. So that way it's kind of used as your generator, not for Omi, but your generator for damage. So the more int you get by
2, 2, 1?
your 2, you're actually then fueling the second part of the aspect shift, which is on her second stance,
BO1.
her BO1. I wasn't sure the best way to say it.
Moonstrike,
So the
I believe it's
Moonstrike,
called,
exactly. To the
Okay.
Moonstrike, and specifically, so the trade-off there is you're no
Moonstrike
longer
is
going to
the
get a stun
part
so
of
that's
the
a very
one, but it'll no
heavy
longer
CC
stun, it'll just do
difference
bonus
there.
damage.
But you're getting a lot more scaling on the Moonstrike
Wonder if it
itself.
casts faster.
More scaling on the Moonstrike and bouncing damage on the Mending Waters. That is
Let's see
the
if I can
aspect.
spawn a few Ymir bots and show this thing off. Get one.
In between that and like an on-hit build with Conduit Gem and stuff like that.
There we
It
go.
definitely, I mean, it already almost worked before, and now it's definitely feeling it. So you can actually see. I'm not sure why you're not seeing the buff itself, but you can see the damage going up. So.
I'm out of Omi. I spam too much. There we go. So yep, no stun.
but
That one looks a
you
little
should
faster,
see a
I think,
buff
right?
tooltip bar that's stacking up. Maybe it's just a jungle practice issue where it's not.
see
But
here. Let's see.
I'm
if
pretty sure I
can-
saw the damage going up. So.
And then we can show off the scaling here.
Is this normal? Allies in the final strike of their Omi healing replaced with a buff providing attack speed, attack damage. Has this always been a thing? Really? Are you sure? Hold on. Nah, that's brand new, right? Oh wait, hold on. That's brand new. So the one buffs your teammates now. What the fuck? Still stun structures though? 75% scaling on the big hit. Oh no, sorry, 40% scaling on the big hit and 225 on the big hit, and the small hits are 140, 75. Did this always give attack speed? Oh no, this is the team buff. 40 attack damage, 30 attack speed. Oh, it is in the game? It's on the left side? Wait, what? Oh, it is here. It's on the left. Oh, it's over here. I never knew that gave a buff. I don't think I've ever won my teammates.
For Moonstrike in the aspect.
That's crazy.
So yeah, a lot of scaling here.
Yep. So that's
Is this a lot of
75%
scaling,
on the
though?
inner strike specifically. That's the one.
You're never hitting the whole thing. It's physically impossible. You could technically hit 2, but it's kind of luck.
That's been changed. So I think it was 40% before,
Especially
like
without
40
the
and 40.
stun, it's kind of
now it's 40
like
and
super
75.
luck.
So you're getting a big chunk more intelligence. And just as a whole, while this is kind of a bounce spoiler, it's really the most minor one. Her mending waters did just go up flat for both the aspect and non-aspect. Just
So max stacks are 6. You can have 60 bonus intelligence. How many times does it bounce? So at one throw, you could get 6. You could get max.
the scaling from 40% to 50%. So it's really a tiny change there, but it'll matter even more for the aspect of Yemoja.
Cool. So yeah, definitely a different way to play Yemoja, a little bit more damage oriented. Maybe we see some Yemoja mid with this
exactly
going on. Yeah, it could be fun.
And this will probably be going live in week 2 of the update, right? So like what we want to do going forward is have, you know, here's the new god, and then a week later, here's a aspect for an existing god. So this probably won't be live when OB6 goes live a week from today, but will be live 2 weeks from now.
You can't even see the buff.
So you can see the damage is actually going up because she's gaining more and more int. For some reason, I'm not sure why the buff bar is not there. And now you have the full stack of six extra intelligence stacks.
Right.
And it's up there.
Yeah.
Lasts for like 8 to 10 seconds, I think.
Nice. Cool. Question for you, Clumsy, just because I'm curious. With Aspect Yemoja, will the BO1, the Moonstrike, will that still stun towers?
Yes, I did leave this damage,
that's
the
cool.
stunning on towers. It's just the stunning on gods that was removed. And that's mostly just because, like, we know if you're going to go with this build, you're going to go even more CDR and getting just more ability to cast.
Sold on
Being
this.
able
I have to see it in game.
Being able
The
to stun someone
bouncing
repeatedly
aspect
with your
sounds
ulti
OP,
is
but
already
if the
really
numbers
frustrating
are
on the receiving end as
low, it
Yemoja
won't
without
be
the
OP?
aspect. But now if that's doing 75% scaling, it's happening even more. That's just going
It's
to be
likely
like that's
that you 2 and then like 1-1-1 and can kill somebody if the scaling and the actual base is high enough.
just taking the tilts to another
Right,
level.
yeah.
So I would rather even give more damage to that ability or Mending Waters and just keep the CC lower. And that way also you have more of a reason to play support Yemoja versus just damage oriented Yemoja.
Chat wants to see the ult for this skin.
Ooh,
if you could just
yeah.
ult real quick.
Oh,
that looks
that's sick. Oh my goodness. Good call out, chat.
Yeah, good call, chat. UE5. So we had to develop the tech to be able to do that. And this is kind of the first true Toon skin that we've ever really done.
Yeah.
We had to fake all of the cell shading stuff in UE3.
Right, yeah.
And it looked really good for UE3. Don't get me wrong, our team's amazing. But this
Let's see here. There we go.
Oh yeah, it looks so good.
like it just looks really sharp, I think. Yeah, so we are going to use the abilities
like
just
this
because
skin.
yeah, we
This
can
is
use
clean.
autos are fine. But the effects are really good. They're just not quite done for a
This
couple
skin
of the
and that
abilities.
Danza
so
skin
don't wanna show off
they're
too much.
starting to
But you can
like
see it
do
just looks
better
really
shit
sharp.
finally. Back on their normal shit.
He
I
does
guess.
have voice lines. I don't know if the voice lines are hooked up yet. Kellen, I think said. I think that's
Attack middle lane.
Sounds
You're
right.
the star of the show.
Yeah, nice.
There you go. So pretty cool. The other thing that's really cool about this skin, something new that we
What? Is it
Brings
recolor?
back to
added
cams,
and figured out how to do.
Get to the right screen.
So,
Dun, dun,
yeah,
dun.
okay. Sorry, make sure you
I
got
know,
the right
right?
screen. So we are. If you look at the card art for Susanoo, for
someone saw it and
you notice
noticed
there's a couple different versions of him beside him.
Yeah.
So we're introducing something that we're calling prisms, which are new alternate colors that you can unlock for this skin.
Yeah.
And
They're so cool.
They are tied specifically to this skin.
Brother, they can literally sell skins separately this way. They can do rewards for like ranked or getting 1,000 wins in a game mode or getting 10,000 kills with this, where you don't have to create a whole skin for it. You could just throw in this specialty colorway that you can only get by doing one of these achievements. I hope to God they take advantage of this and stop pussing around with this shit, because this might be the only competitive game that doesn't do grindy, like, I accomplished something rewards.
So it's not like the old Color Forge where it was kind of generic. And the reason why we think this is better is because we're able to do more custom things that just look really sick on this skin.
Yeah.
Whereas the Color Forge ones had to work everywhere. These do also recolor the FX, so it's not just
that's sick.
it's not just the skin changes. The effects are going to change too, and we built out a new system to kind of be able to do that as well. And we think it's pretty cool. So this is the first skin that we're doing these prisms on. There's going to be a lot, like, we aren't sure how we really want to do this system going forward, but as the first skin we're doing this on, we've heard from like our supporters that they want a way to like show that there are supporters and that they're helping with the game. So we're trying a new thing with these, and we're calling these, if you click on one of them again, I think we added the tag to it, the supporter premier classification for things. So these prisms are going to be diamond only, no legacy gem discount for this first wave of prisms. We may do things differently in the future, but just as a special fun thing for here's a new feature, you know, let's see how it does kind of with the community.
They're finally using business brain. They're trying to make money. Finally.
So this is a first out. We think they're pretty cool. The FX are really cool. I wish I could show them all to you in game right now.
Right, I know.
But yeah, so we wanted to create this new thing. So cool. And how much are they? I don't know if we have the final price, but they are. I don't know if I should say what the prices are, but they are significantly less than buying a skin. It's all of them. I think are less than half the price of buying a skin directly.
So and then the base skin
that's good. They're not
is
like
still available for
out.
50% legacy gems. Correct?
Yeah, the base skin. Everybody can get the base skin, 50% legacy gems. It's just the prisms.
That's a cool. They're finally doing some cool shit, man. It took them long enough
for people that want to.
Off the game, we should talk about
the new items.
Some items coming in.
Yeah, there's new items too.
I'll just go with the Susanna because the skin is so sick. But we should talk about some new items that we've got coming in for OB6. Where do you want to start, Clumsy? You're a mid player.
I see one of them on the screen right now, so we should probably start with that.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, I think the more and more we talked about adding starter items, like, you know, we had Gilded Arrow coming in later on, and then
20 int, 75 health, damage enemy. It's the exact same thing as Vamp Shroud. Okay.
A lot of people are like, well, where's Vampiric Shroud?
What's up, Resident Revo? Thank you for the 9 months, man.
There we go. We've got Vampiric Shroud back. So this is kind of the one that you know and you love. It's got intelligence, it's got health. And when you damage an enemy, you get that health heal and mana heal. You know, it's just one that people have said that they want to see back on their bruisers, back on just a more lifesteal oriented mages and a little bit of that survivability. Maybe it's a good time when people saying from
prepping
Merlin,
for
although Conduit Gem's
release?
pretty good on him, believe me.
Right.
But a little bit of lifesteal splash isn't bad. So yeah, you've got your Vampiric Shroud, and it's of course got it's up.
No, go back.
Upgrade as well. Blood Soak Shroud.
Oh, it's right here. Oh, you guys can't see it. 60 int, 225 health. Damaging an enemy with an ability heals you for 1% of your health, 1% of your mana, once per target per ability. Heal an additional 1% health and mana if it was a god. For every kill you have this game, increase the heal by 0.1%.
Damage ability still gives you that heal, a percent now, and
Kinda
every
weird
time
not having any of their stats.
So you heal an additional 1% and mana if this was a god. Yeah, once per ability.
I feel like this is just
Chat
not
has also
better
done
than the
something
other
else that is new
starters
in
unless
OB6.
I'm trolling.
Not a sacrificial shard.
The toggles,
sure this is
so you
shit.
can now select multiple stats at the same time.
Playing Smite 1, I realized that they needed this.
Oh, this
in
was
the centered
huge
store.
for me.
So if you are the kind of person who's like, I need an item. So if you get rid of attack speed, just click on attack speed again. And
All right, next
It's
item.
back.
Rune Force Hammer 40. Oh my fucking tits! What the fuck? What? What? After apply a hard CC to an enemy god, mark them with rune for 5 seconds. Basic attack them to forge that rune, dealing 50 plus 50% of your item protections as magical damage. Wait. This can only apply for 40 seconds. Hard crowd control applied to enemy gods while in cooldown. Reduce the cooldown. Wait. Hold on. So we know we're getting Kali fairly soon, right? Is this not like the most Kali item of all time. Also, doesn't CERN 2 proc this? So wouldn't this be an insane aspect CERN item? This is Bologna is gonna crush with this. Amaterasu's 3 should proc this, so that should make Amaterasu fuck you up. This is gonna be fucked coming out of the soul lane and on some auto attack gods. That's 50 every auto, right? Hold on. Or is this only once? Is this only a one-time proc, or is it every auto for 5 seconds? Either way, hold on. How many prots do you have? Because it's item prots. I'm trying to imagine, like, what? You're sitting at, like, this is gonna blow up for like 300, right? Full build, this will be like 300. This is going to be insanely good. Like, these stats are crazy, bro. Just these. Fuck the strength. These are crazy alone. This makes it OP as fuck. It's cheap. 2,600 gold. Hercules is going to go crazy with this. This might be the best Herc item that exists because you're going to pair this with, like, just full defense and a Glad Shield. If you wanted to go full tank Herc. Or not full tank, but, like, hybrid tank Herc. Mulan. Yeah, Mulan's going to proc this with a 3.
We've got Runeforge Hammer, but now it's going to be slightly different to the way it was before. We want to be very careful when it comes to do take basic attack in hand.
Anchile is back. 60 magic prots, 250 HP. This is good. You take 10% reduced basic attack damage. Interesting. Like, I imagine this being good. I don't know if I imagine it being must build, I guess, but potentially.
Attack mages are definitely even more triggered.
Yeah, what happens if you have this
this
and
is very
Gargoyle?
Cool. It's a different take on Chile than the old Chile.
Right.
But it kind of fits the same niche. So I like when we can kind of reinvent something and see how people like it. And this is
there we go. Sweet. All right. Well, that is it for in game. Let me prep
so
these.
Volton
Sorry,
DH has a question that is a great question. And it's
Volton, you in here? Volton doesn't ask good questions. Is he in here? Motherfucker.
Are there any Conquest art updates?
You don't ask good questions.
That's the next thing we're showing you. There are Conquest art updates. So as I said, we've kind of been doing things like bit by bit, right? We don't want to hold for like a big major update. The last update we had the new tower pads. And this update, 3 camps are going to be kind of like re-arted and look much better. So if I can pull, if we can
get rid of the lane teleports, by the way? They are horrible for the game.
After,
Want to give a quick shout out to Pon for getting those items in. I know he was super excited to get some more, and he's just like, you know what, I'm going to do it, and he got those in.
Cool. Shout out to Chuck, because Chuck has been running point on this. For those of you who don't remember, Chuck was like the art director for us for forever and loves skulls. And he came back on the team, I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago. And, you see Ben on the show all the time. Chuck doesn't live in Atlanta anymore. He lives somewhere else. I'm not going to
right, yeah.
And so, but he's kind of in charge of like the FX and the environment art stuff for the game now.
Yeah.
But what does it look like now? Boom.
There you go.
Yeah, we got the. Oh, how would you know? It just looks like some boring rocks.
Yeah.
But what does it look like now? Boom.
There you go.
This is a real, like, if you guys played Smite 1 and you remember when the maps were dark as fuck, they made the game worse. So something as small as this brightening up a part of the map that is dark and ugly as fuck is god tier. Beautiful.
Yeah, we got it's like a cool little frog dude. There's
another smaller one too.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of blue so you know what spawns there, even if you're not like, even if the buff's down, right? You can see.
Wait, look at that. Yeah. The fog is different. This is something I preached in Smite 1. I don't know where they got, if this is going to be something they're sticking with, but if you notice, the fog was here and now it's just gone. I hope this is accurate. Like, I'm assuming it is. Like, look at this. See how like the fog is overcast on this whole fucking part of the map, and then it's just gone.
Yeah.
But what does it look like now?
Yeah, bro. Fog makes your map look like dog shit. It ruins all the color that you guys have on the map.
Boom.
There you go.
Yeah, we got the.
This is a good one so
cool
far, Slayer.
Frog
I agree.
dude. There's
another smaller one too.
Yeah.
I really hope this fog change isn't just like being altered for this picture, and it actually is like this on the whole map.
Just a little bit of blue, so you know what spawns there.
Being gone
even if you're
changes
not, like,
everything.
Even if the buff's down.
Look
right?
at how ugly this shit is. Yeah, like this is nasty. This looks like there's a fire nearby.
You can see.
And this shit looks like it just rained. There's rainbows out. It's sunny and 75 degrees.
It's the blue buff.
Yeah.
Pretty good, right?
Changes.
like just not we aren't reinventing the wheel here, but we're making everything just better
Exactly.
and understanding what it
There's
does.
another one. Oh, there's like 3.
Yeah, I know.
Fire is nearby. Okay, come on.
All right. So that's
Elder
before,
Trolls.
after. All right. What's the next one we got?
I believe this is the red buff area.
Oh, okay, cool. So
And
what's
once
red
again, it's some rocks.
How would you know?
Yay.
So red
Oh,
buff
they're gonna
now.
put some
Nice.
This is great. I don't even care about the visuals, and this is fucking great.
There we go.
This is beautiful.
It's pretty sick. It's almost like a shrine to skulls, which makes sense because Chuck did it.
This is the first one he came into.
Yes. But I think
rocks.
it looks sick, and once again, you know it's the red buff. And
Right,
like
yeah.
I like that it kind of looks a little bit. Let's think about thematically, right? Like blue buff gives you mana back. Mana, kind of like water. It's kind of the frog. It's kind of thematic, right? But they're magical
Yeah,
lights.
don't worry about it.
Purple, what's themed with being stronger? Skulls
There
and
you
pointy
go.
things,
So
right?
far, so quickly.
Evil, yeah.
I thought they were gonna
This
keep
is looking
rambling.
sick.
My
All
bad.
right, what do we got up next? Purple.
So this actually had some purple lighting. So we were.
Where? I don't even see any lights or anything. Like, where are those? There's just
Don't
like,
worry about it. They're magical lights.
don't worry about it.
magical lights. But now,
There we
Shoot.
go.
look at that. That's so cool.
That's so. I love that theming with
Yo.
like
Hold up.
the arcane decrepit trees and stuff
Yeah.
and the faces.
Where
Damn.
the fuck
Yeah,
is
that's creepy.
Why do you guys hate me? Where is the speed buff change?
Yeah. So, again, 3 camp updates.
How do I spend all my time at one buff and you guys tell me to fuck myself?
Just running around the
This
map.
is
It makes the
insane.
map feel so
All
much.
I do is live in the jungle and you tell me to fuck myself.
Much more like you know where you are.
Yeah,
that
they're,
makes sense.
they're always like landmarks and features. So that way, if you're spun around, I was going to say something I shouldn't have said, but you get hit by
can't
an
tell me
ulti and you're just
you
not sure.
couldn't argue anything in the world that you all aren't discriminating against the junglers here. There's no way. At one point in Smite 1, you took our speed away. It's the most obvious thing in the world that you guys fucking hate us and are trying to hold us down. But this is the last straw. This is insane. I get to go to all these pretty buffs that aren't mine, and then the speed buff is shit.
Where you are, it's like, okay, wait, I can orient myself just that little bit more easily. Like, it's just almost subconscious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the Conquest updates that we have. We're continuing to work on more stuff, right? I can't guarantee you they'll
It
be.
doesn't look like this. This looks insane. These motherfuckers got a full makeover on one of those TV shows, and for us, they like threw in a fucking plant in the back of the room.
A Conquest update in every
That
every
is
patch note,
crazy.
But I'm gonna say the thing I say every time we do a patch note. We are 2 weeks from our last patch, patch notes, and 1 week from the last patch going live, and we were able to get all of this stuff in the game.
Yeah.
Right. This team is incredible. I am so proud of everybody on Titan Forge. We make amazing things happen, and we are still aggressively working to make the game better every day. And I think that you can see the game is getting better every day. I do want one more thing just to talk about that I don't have scripted at all.
Cool, let's do it.
There's been a lot of discourse in the community about like movement, about pacing, about.
I think they're talking to me.
Just like general gameplay feels,
Yeah.
right? We have been having those conversations internally for months,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like the community is finally, I don't want to say they've caught up, but like, like it is not a surprise to us that you guys are saying these things because we have been working in the background to address them, right? Just today, we play tested again. We've been working on a major overhaul of movement and the way that the net code handles movement, basically. It makes a tremendous difference, but it's not quite working yet. There's a couple bugs that just makes we can't ship it live yet, right? But we've been working on this in the background for months, and we will at some point once we think it's good enough to get your feedback on. We're going to put it on a flash test, and we'll get your feedback there, and then hopefully push it live, right? What do we mean by movement? One of the things that's really annoying about Smite 2 right now.
Before they get into it, what are the odds? Like, obviously, I don't like talk to them about this shit. But I've played Smite 2 the whole time, and some things fell off, but I couldn't really figure it out. I played Smite 1 because of you guys, someone telling me to. Realized the difference, and they've been working on it the whole time, and it's almost ready to go.
I'm going to give you 2 examples. Khepri pull, very obvious. When you Khepri pull, there's kind of like, it's like a disconnect where it's like you're kind of moving forwards and backwards at the same time.
Little jitter.
It's a little jitter, right? Another thing is when body blocking in Smite 2 does not feel good, and very specifically, like your interaction with minions can feel even worse.
Yes.
Like if you're bumping up against minions, it's very jittery and it doesn't feel smooth.
It feels like ass.
So compared to Smite 1, yeah, that's mostly we're talking about, it's not snappy, right? We're well aware of this feedback and we've been working to fix it, but it's just a bigger arc of work. There are some other things that we might be able to push live sooner than this major movement rework. Pawn has been investigating some things related to like the ground friction, which may be affecting this a little bit. We're playtesting with this stuff internally. It may or may not go live in OB6 or sometime later. But we hear all this feedback, right? Another thing that we've been talking about recently a lot because it's come up in the community is like this is not to hate on the community at all. We never really wanted to add combat blink to the game in the first place. And now the community is like,
All right, look. I liked combat blink, okay? All I said in the tweet was, can we see what the game looks like without it? That's all I'm fucking saying. And potentially, if it seems better, we were fucking wrong, okay? It's just an idea. Just at me next time, motherfuckers.
like combat blink
literally the
maybe
shit
is
I
OP,
tweeted about
right?
like
So
4
we're
days
talking
ago.
about like what is the role of combat blink in the game? Is this the correct thing? Should we go
Clumsy,
different?
I will fight you. You understand? I will show up at your doorstep right now. Okay, I know Clumsy in real life. He stayed in my part before. I will call him. This is not a threat.
Angle, right? Like these are all conversations that we're having because we want to make sure that like the game feels good all around, right? I'm not saying anything about blink, guys. I just literally this is
I was like looking at the chat's discourse between the back and forth on this already. It's
yeah.
just
That's the thing.
why
Once you've
it's
had
still
something,
there.
it's hard to go back, right? But combat blink makes fights much less predictable, and most people use it to escape.
Right,
And it just
It's
doesn't feel
that
good.
point. It's that
Right.
point for me.
That is the point. That is why I want to see what the game looks like with regular blink. Because it is used 99.9% of the time by the non-aggressor to run away. And it feels fucking terrible for an aggressor to combat blink in with a 4-minute cooldown, and then that person just combat blink away, and then nobody can fight for the next fucking 4 minutes. So I want to see what it looks like to have regular blink back.
Specifically, if you're using it to engage, I think like it makes sense. You
Sure.
should be rewarded. But if I'm seeing it being used over purification beads and Aegis to escape every single time, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
The thing is, which we all compared it to, was like, well, League has Flash. I'm pretty sure Flash is on like all the relics are a lot different than Smite, first of all. But Smite has so much fucking movement in it between active items and God abilities and God's abilities on other abilities. Like, there's so much shit going on that it might just be too much to have a consistent combat play. It might be. I don't know until we see the game without it.
So I think that like there's a lot of things that we know that we still need to look at in terms of the movement, the pacing, all of the things that we're seeing people talk about over the past
What up,
week,
Swamp?
right?
How you been, brother?
And I just like there may or may not be things that go live with OB6 to address some of these things, but I just want to like reassure the community that like we are talking about these things every day. We've been talking about these things every day for a long time, and we are actively working on, solutions to continue to improve, not just adding more gods, not just, adding more items, but the core of the game. How do we make the core of the game better?
Yeah.
So that's too much of a soapbox. I always do this, but hopefully that is a little bit, people are a little bit happy about that.
Cool.
So.
Well, we talked about a lot today. We've got about 10-ish minutes left, so let's take a few questions.
All right, that's actually a pretty cool Titan Talk. That's one of their better Titan Talks I think they've ever had. Merlin seems pretty interesting. I'm a little scared of how good that aspect is going to be because I thought it was troll, but now I'm thinking it might be OP. I don't know about Yemoja. That's one of those things we got to see in action. The prism skins are fucking sick. I don't even care what the prices are. Whoever cries about them, you're a bitch. Vamp Shroud, I think, is going to be shit. Rune Forge is going to be busted as fuck. I'm telling you that now. Weekends, always, yeah, it's going to be a fucking OP. On Chile, I don't know yet. I'm not sure how that'll, play out. The map art is sick, but why the fuck didn't my speed buff get cool shit? And then the fact that they are messing with like the way fighting feels is good. I'm a little worried about it because obviously it could make it worse. So we'll see it. And if it's taking them months to, play with it and try to find something right, that makes it cool, like it's coming, but a little scary, a little bit. A little bit. That's cool though. That's like definitely one of the best Titan Talk whatevers they've had. 100%. Weekend controlling the meta. Bro, all I did was tweet some thoughts, okay? I realized I could message them and like Pawn messaged me back and shit, and Clumsy would probably message me back, but like I don't want to bug them with bullshit. I'm just saying my thoughts out loud, and if it's relevant to what they are doing, it's cool to see them acknowledge it, and then everyone gets to see it. So, props to them. They should have. It is kind of troll when they're like the community, bro. Those are two things I tweeted about. I made a video about. I'm sorry.